All right, Raiders fans, let's dive into some of the most intriguing developments surrounding the Las Vegas Raiders, because there's a lot going on behind the scenes that could shape the future of this franchise in ways you might not expect. Right now, we are seeing a situation with the quarterback position that is drawing more attention than ever. The year is 2025, and while the current roster has a mix of established players and promising talents, there's one name that keeps popping up when people start speculating about the long-term future of the team: CJ Carr. Now, here's the kicker for Raider fans. CJ Carr is not even draft eligible until 2027. That fact alone makes his presence on the radar of the Raiders incredibly interesting, because it means that any planning the team is doing is very much long-term, deliberate, and strategic. Right now, CJ Carr is putting together a very impressive season as a redshirt freshman at Notre Dame, completing nearly 68% of his passes, throwing 19 touchdowns against just 4 interceptions, and steadily improving as each game passes. This kind of accuracy, combined with his 6'3", 210-pound frame, puts him right in the sweet spot for a prototypical NFL quarterback, especially one who can make the precise throws necessary to run a modern offense efficiently. While his arm strength may not jump off the charts, what makes him comparable to someone like Joe Burrow, at least in the sense of putting the ball exactly where it needs to be, is exactly the type of skill set that organizations like the Raiders look for when planning for the long haul. Now, the connection between CJ Carr and the Raiders goes beyond his on-field performance. There are family and historical ties that make this even more fascinating. CJ's grandfather, Lloyd Carr, is a legendary figure in college football, having coached at the University of Michigan and having worked with notable names like Tom Brady. That lineage, that kind of football intelligence being passed down, adds a layer of appeal that goes beyond statistics and highlights. It is not just about what CJ can do physically, but about what he has learned from football minds that the Raiders' leadership, including minority owner Tom Brady, deeply respect. Relationships and connections matter in this organization, more than perhaps any other in the league, and the fact that CJ comes from a family that has nurtured elite quarterback talent makes him a natural consideration for long-term planning. The Raiders, under this current regime, seem to place incredible value on those connections, and when you combine that with CJ Carr's performance trajectory, it begins to form a compelling picture. It's not just speculation. It is based on observation, patterns of behavior in team management, and even the timing of certain strategic decisions. For example, take a look at the recent structuring of contracts for key players. Geno Smith's extension was clearly designed with a specific timeline in mind. The way his contract is laid out allows flexibility in 2027, which just so happens to be CJ Carr's first year of draft eligibility. This type of strategic foresight suggests the organization is not only thinking about the next season or two, but is mapping out a window where the team can transition to a new quarterback while maintaining competitiveness. Max Crosby's contract is another example of the Raiders' forward-thinking approach. By front-loading his deal, the team secures a top-tier defensive presence in the immediate years, while leaving cap flexibility in later years to accommodate future stars and adjustments. When you put these elements together, contract structures, emerging talent like CJ Carr, and the emphasis on relationships and development, a pattern begins to emerge that is hard to ignore. The Raiders are clearly preparing for something beyond the immediate season, and it would be naive to dismiss the possibility that CJ Carr could be central to that vision. Beyond planning and contracts, the Raiders' attention to developmental connections further strengthens this narrative. The team's running back coach, Dan McCullough, previously spent time at Notre Dame, and pairing him with the team's high draft picks like Ashton Gentry shows a deliberate strategy of fostering familiarity and leveraging existing knowledge systems. If you think about it, this is a subtle but powerful way of creating an environment where a young quarterback like CJ Carr could thrive when the time comes. It's about laying foundations now that could pay dividends years later. This is an organization that understands the importance of developmental pipelines and relationships, and the way they are structuring personnel and support roles makes it clear that they are looking beyond the current season. It is also worth considering the statements made by key figures in football. Tom Brady's commentary on CJ Carr, comparing him to a quarterback like Joe Burrow, indicates that elite football minds see something special in this young player. It is not just about physical attributes. It is about intelligence, decision-making, and the ability to execute under pressure. To receive recognition from someone of Brady's stature is more than just a compliment. It is an indication that the talent is being noted by those who matter when it comes to long-term planning and potential quarterback development in the NFL. This is where the speculation becomes more grounded in observable evidence rather than idle rumors. At the same time, Raider Nation is preparing for the present with high-stakes games and the daily grind of the NFL season. Week 11 brings a Monday Night Football showdown against the Dallas Cowboys, a game that has all the intensity and rivalry fans expect. This is the team balancing the immediate need to compete and win while also laying the groundwork for future strategic decisions. Observing how the team manages its roster, plays its games, and communicates about emerging talent gives insight into how the front office and coaching staff are thinking about the evolution of the franchise. There is a clear interplay between the present and the future, and it is in this space that discussions about C.J. Carr become so compelling. In summary, the Raiders' current trajectory combines careful scouting, strategic contract management, relationship-based decision-making, and forward-thinking player development. All of these factors intersect at a very interesting point with C.J. Carr, a young quarterback who is just starting to make a name for himself in college football, but is already being observed and evaluated in the context of the NFL's long-term strategy. It is the kind of scenario that makes fans both excited and impatient, because while the potential is clear, the timeline is long, and the team must balance immediate performance with preparation for the future. Raider Nation is watching closely, taking in every statement, every contract, and every on-field performance, knowing that the seeds being planted today could define the team's success for years to come, especially when it comes to the quarterback position that is so central to the identity and competitiveness of any NFL team. The speculation around C.J. Carr is more than just hype. It is grounded in a web of connections, planning, and strategic foresight that shows the Raiders are thinking several moves ahead, keeping the fans engaged and curious about what the future might hold for their beloved team. All right, let's keep the momentum going, Raiders fans, because the conversation around C.J. Carr and the future of this team doesn't stop with speculation. It continues with all the moving pieces that the organization is strategically positioning to ensure long-term success. When you look at the roster today, you see a mixture of young talent and experienced players who serve both immediate needs and potential mentorship roles. Geno Smith, for example, is not just a quarterback filling in for the present. His contract, his positioning, and his role within the team all suggest a deliberate strategy to create a bridge between the current season and a future where the team may transition to a quarterback like C.J. Carr. This kind of foresight shows a franchise thinking multiple seasons ahead, valuing not only what the team can achieve this year, but also what it can build for 2027 and beyond. It is a delicate balance, managing the present while planning for the future, but the Raiders appear to be executing this approach with precision, taking calculated risks and making sure that each move serves a dual purpose. Beyond the quarterback discussion, there's a broader pattern in the way the Raiders structure their contracts and make personnel decisions. Take Max Crosby, for instance. His front-loaded contract tells a story about the organization's priorities, securing top-tier defensive talent now, ensuring cap flexibility later, and maintaining options to build around a future quarterback. This is not random. It is strategic, and when you combine it with the signals coming from coaching and ownership, a larger plan begins to emerge. You start to see a franchise that understands the nuances of roster management, the timing of player development, and the importance of relationships both on and off the field. The Raiders are not simply reacting to circumstances. They are proactively shaping their path towards sustained competitiveness, and C.J. Carr is potentially a key piece in that puzzle. Speaking of relationships, it is impossible to ignore the influence of mentorship and historical connections in this story. C.J. Carr's grandfather, Lloyd Carr, coached Tom Brady and John Spytek at Michigan, and both of these figures are now integral parts of the Raiders organization. That connection alone is compelling because it shows that the franchise values not only raw talent, but also a player's understanding of the game, football intelligence, and the ability to learn from those who have successfully navigated the pressures of elite competition. Tom Brady's involvement as a minority owner adds another layer to this dynamic, as his insight into quarterback development is unparalleled. When someone with Brady's experience publicly praises C.J. Carr's potential, it is a signal that this young quarterback is being evaluated in the context of long-term planning at the highest level. The organization's attention to detail and its reliance on trusted relationships indicate that every move is deliberate, every observation matters, and every connection is leveraged to optimize future outcomes. In addition to these connections, the Raiders are building supporting structures that could make C.J. Carr's transition to the NFL smoother when the time comes. Coaches, trainers, and development staff are being positioned with an eye toward maximizing potential. The running back coach, Dan McCullough, with ties to Notre Dame, is a perfect example of this. Pairing him with recently drafted offensive talent like Ashton Gentry creates continuity, familiarity, and mentorship opportunities that could benefit a young quarterback like C.J. Carr when he arrives. It is about laying foundations today that allow a seamless transition tomorrow. The Raiders clearly understand the value of creating a supportive environment where a quarterback can thrive, learning from coaches and teammates who have experience and insight into both college and professional systems. This attention to developmental infrastructure is a hallmark of an organization thinking beyond immediate wins and losses. At the same time, on-field performance remains critical, and the Raiders are balancing this perfectly. While planning for the future, the team is still competing at a high level in 2025, aiming to win each game and maintain a strong presence in the league. Upcoming matchups, like the Monday Night Football game against the Dallas Cowboys, provide not only excitement for fans, but also real-time testing grounds for the team's strategies, chemistry, and depth. Winning now creates momentum, builds confidence, and ensures that the transition to future quarterbacks is not hindered by immediate setbacks. It is this dual focus, excelling today while planning for tomorrow, that demonstrates the Raiders' disciplined approach to team management. Every decision, every roster move, and every draft pick is part of a larger narrative, and C.J. Carr sits squarely within that narrative as a potential cornerstone for future success. Moreover, the team's strategy extends beyond just quarterbacks. Players like Max Crosby, with carefully structured contracts, show how the Raiders are preparing to compete at the highest level while retaining flexibility. The organization is constructing a roster that can withstand injuries, maximize performance, and maintain adaptability in a league where circumstances change rapidly. The focus on relationships, player development, and smart financial planning all converge to create an environment where a quarterback like C.J. Carr could inherit a team ready to win, rather than a roster that needs rebuilding from scratch. This foresight and meticulous planning set the Raiders apart and reinforce the plausibility of C.J. Carr being integrated as a long-term solution at quarterback. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The desert is buzzing, and it's not just the Vegas nightlife. Whispers are spreading fast around league circles that the Las Vegas Raiders have closed a deal for TREY HENDRICKSON, a move that could redefine their defensive identity overnight. While nothing official has been confirmed, multiple insiders hint that something big has gone down in Henderson and that the Raiders may have just added one of the league's most relentless pass rushers to their arsenal. Hendrickson, known for his explosive first step and relentless motor, has been a nightmare for offensive tackles since his breakout seasons with New Orleans and Cincinnati. If the rumors hold true, pairing him with Max Crosby could instantly create one of the most fearsome edge duos in football, a thunder and lightning combination that could terrorize quarterbacks across the AFC. The timing feels deliberate. The Raiders have been hunting for consistency on defense, searching for that missing piece to turn flashes of brilliance into dominance. Hendrickson's rumored arrival could be that spark. He's a high-motor player with a chip on his shoulder, the kind of presence that transforms locker rooms and demands attention from opponents. Inside sources describe the mood around the facility as electric, with players reportedly buzzing about a potential game-changer joining the team. Coaches, meanwhile, are said to be quietly thrilled, the type of excitement they try to hide but can't quite mask. Even the front office, often guarded in moments like these, seems to be enjoying the chaos that only a blockbuster rumor can bring. Fans have already taken to social media, flooding timelines with reactions, speculation, and mock defensive lineups that would make any offensive coordinator sweat. While skeptics remain cautious, after all, Vegas rumors often burn hotter than they last. The smoke surrounding Hendrickson's name feels different. If this move truly comes to fruition, it would signal a bold new chapter for the Raiders, a team embracing its aggressive identity, leaning into chaos, and finally building a defense to match the swagger of its city. Whether rumor or reality, one thing's for sure: the desert just got a lot louder. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.